to the place, I mean, people of God, I've gotten to the place where I had to start saying to myself, the symptom is what we need to deal with. We need to make sure the root cause of that thing is what we really need to deal with. Symptoms are good, but we really need to deal with the root of the issue. So yeah, I got a cold. I'm not feeling good. Why don't you feel good? Why? Because you sit up and laid up under a fan when you knew that you can't do it? You follow what I'm saying? So many times we don't deal with the root, and you got to deal with the root of some problems. Why them people don't like you at your job? You want to know why? Because you nasty and you're messy. I don't care how well that you're a good performer, but can I tell you something? Some people think they got a lot of years on people. They really feel like that they are entitled to actually be in that position. And you may through the years of experience. But let's deal with the root as to why you are not in that position. You got a stank attitude. You talk too much. You're too overly opinionated. You talk back. You're insubordinate. Come on, y'all ain't talking to me. This is why some people do not deal with the issue. And can I tell you something? When it's just like your teeth. When you don't deal, amen, with that small hole, it gets big. And then when it gets big, now all of a sudden you got the biggest cavity. Having the biggest cavity, they're going to tell you we're going to have to give you a root canal, or we're going to have to pull it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Next thing you know, you get too many teeth pulled, now you got to get a bridge. Y'all ain't saying nothing. And too many times we don't deal with the root of the problem. So just sitting there putting a piece of oil gel on a napkin or something to help you, you got to make sure that you get it right. You have to make sure that you're dealing with the root of some issues. You have to start dealing with them. And in your life, quit always looking to blame for everybody else. That bothers me with humanity. We ain't got to go through all these preachers and fivefold ministry gifts, nitpicking and all that's for the birds. Let's deal with you. Let's deal with why you are always in something. Why are you and your name coming up in something? Don't sit there and always say, "Ooh, I'm anointed and I know the attack of the enemy and I'm gonna be sought after. They want to sift me as wheat because the oil on my life." No, you are vinegar. And sometimes you need to deal with your own truth and realize that I gotta change some of these feverish, fickle ways that I have, because hear me, when I am that way, I am not going to be what God has really ordained for my life to be. And these come from being traditional. It comes from you being traditional when you really got to move into a place of collaboration. I really love some of the people that God has brought into my life. There are great people that speaks into my life. One of the wonderful women of God, she's on here now, Apostle Bryant. She's on here. She'll send me a message of encouragement. She will say some things to my life and didn't even realize what she was saying at the time. She's great friends. She's a great friend of mine who I met through the UAAFI fellowship. Awesome woman of God, great spirit, a woman who's been in apostleship for years and doing the things that God has called for her to do and moving in her spirit. Every time I talk to her, she's working in some ministry, doing something, helping and building and bridging people, because she's made up in her mind. She never said it, but she made up in her mind that I got to work with people to help them get their ministry where they need to be. And true callings of apostles, they are travelers and not settlers. There are people who want to see people be better. They want to push people and launch them into greener and greater pastures. That's a very good thing. But here's the problem. You can't be traditional and expect collaboration when you shoot down everybody's opinions and everybody's ideas and your way is the only way and your thoughts are the only thought. No. You're going to miss it. You're going to be traditional, and that's why ain't nobody going to come to your church, and that's why ain't nobody going to want to sow into your life. That's why ain't nobody going to be walking with you through these miles and through these muddy waters. When you are really at a place of being collaborative, you have people that will go through muddy waters with you. Let me give you these last two and we out of here, okay? When you are traditional, you always want to review your team, you review your staff according to policy. But when you are really collaborative, you are dealing always with ongoing feedback, hear me, with personalized coaching. Did y'all hear what I just said? If you always trying to go by the book, that's why you're going to have high turnover. If you're always trying to say, we did it this way, this is the old way, and this is the way that worked, you're going to find yourself with low retention and high turnover. You're going to have to now get to a place in your life where you start saying to yourself, there's some things I got to do different. I prophesied this, and I never knew people really was listening to it. I preached a sermon, it better get better. Did y'all hear what I say? It better get better. I'm prophesying over your life right now. It better get better. And in your ministries, it better get better. In your pocketbook, it better get better. Y'all ain't ready for me tonight. You have to now begin to see that there's about to be an immediate feedback, hear me, of personalized coaching. What I'm working with right now in one of the 4 contracts that I have, I'm dealing now where I'm moving into the place of personalized coaching. I have periods of the day when I am inside of the boardroom. You all seen me put the boardroom picture up. You see me do a couple of videos from there. And when I am in the boardroom, the door is open. Anybody has the right to come through that door. Because hear me, we always say as CEOs, I got an open door policy, but your door is always closed. Y'all ain't ready for me. You got 15 adjutants on the door, so can't nobody get back in to talk to you. So make sure that you're not selling a bunch of lies to people saying that I got an open door policy, but I got to go through 9 people to get to you. You can't have my number. You got to call so-and-so and report to them. It's all right to have a chain of command, but if you're going to be at a place where you start saying that I want to be different, I want to be collaborative, you got to get amongst the people. You can't just lock yourself in the office. You just can't stay in there. You gotta mingle with the people. You gotta smooth with the people, as we call it. You gotta make sure that you are moving in a place where you are approachable. People have my number. You know, the people that are under our covering here in Kingdom Empowerment, they'll tell you they got my number. They call me. My mentees, they call me. They don't care what time they call either. They gonna call, and they expect for me to answer that phone when they call. They expect for me to respond back when they text. Y'all ain't talking to me. And we got to get to a place where we start saying to ourselves that we have to move beyond just always dealing with policy and making sure that we're dealing with continuous feedback that is an ongoing process. And let me give y'all one more, and I got to ride up out of here. And I pray that I'm helping you. I'm praying that this conversation that we're having today is giving you great strength, the power to show you some greater things that we can do collectively as a unit, not just me. See, anybody that love me, one of my great friends said to me today, the reason why they love me is because of my true transparency. And I told you 3 years ago when I first started doing this, and when Dr. Maxwell and them pushed me to do this, I told you, I'm going to tell you my truths. I want to tell you why I failed at, so you won't have to make the mistakes. When you have a leader who always will never tell you how to get over it, when you have a leader that don't help you get through it, if you don't have a leader that will show you a better way of doing it, you're under the wrong leader. Did y'all hear what I just said? You're going to have to start in your mind and make up in your mind. Hear me. You're going to have to make up in your mind that you got to be honest. You got to tell your story. You got to tell your truth. I wasn't always the greatest at it. There are days I missed the mark still. But there's a whole lot of days that I'm always make sure that I'm getting it right. Let me give you this last one. And I'm done, okay? When you're traditional, you try to adhere to specific roles and responsibilities. But when you are collaborative, you allow the roles and the responsibilities to evolve. Did y'all hear what I just said? Let me give it to you again. When you're traditional, you always want to adhere to specific roles and responsibilities. In other words, that ain't my job description. I'm only doing this right here. Can I tell y'all something? It's always in everybody's contract. It's in a little fine print. It's in a little black writing. and all other duties that I've been asked for you to do. But when you allow the roles to evolve, you have to want to see your leaders get better. You have to want to see your leaders do great things. Can I tell you one of the greatest joys that I have? One of the greatest joys that I have is to see the sons and daughters that God has graced me to have doing their thing. I love it. I love to see them have conferences. I love to see them minister in places. I believe that if you sit up and you just want your preachers to sit up under you every Sunday, can't preach, can't read a scripture, can't read a verse, can't do a hymn, can't do the altar prayer, and you got to do everything in that service, you are a dictator. You ain't fit for true leadership. Because you're supposed to make the people that you're leading better. How can they get better if they never practice? And can I tell you something? Oh, no, they can't do it on a Sunday. Well, what better time can they do it? They have to sit up 51 Sundays a year just to listen to you? When are they going to ever get their opportunity? I say it all the time. The preachers in our church, I let them preach on a Sunday morning. You know why? Because they're sitting in the house of a prolific preacher. That's what the world say. The world say Dr. Peters is a prolific preacher. He's the leadership guru. Dr. Peters is a preacher's preacher. He's the prince of preachers. He's the orator. He is the charismatic revelatory preacher. This is what the world say. I don't say it. I don't know if the people in my house will agree with all that, but that's what the world say. That's why I go across the country. That's why people calling me, and I'm on a plane, train, and automobile. This is what they say. And hear me. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't give them the opportunity to do what they do. Can I tell y'all what when I first started House of Empowerment, can I tell you something? I was flying back on Sunday. I'd be preaching. I was in full-time ministry. Monday I was at home. Tuesday, I was somewhere kind of local, kind of like Wednesday, was our Bible study, because I was traditional. That's all I knew was Bible study on a Wednesday. Watch this here. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I was evangelizing. I was in 3 cities, 3 days, sometimes 4 cities in 3 days. Fly back on a Sunday just to get back at 9 o'clock a.m. for Good Morning Holy Spirit. Preach that at 9. Because I had my overnight people that was working. They wanted to hear their pastor. See, that's traditionalism. Noon service, preach that. Had service at 2:30, had to go somewhere to preach. Then we had our 5:30 service. People would come. And then I had 8 o'clock service where I was preaching somewhere. You see, I was killing myself. And hear me. I had to start learning how to trust my leaders. I even had to do this stupid stuff. I'll let them preach. And I'll see, Facebook wasn't that heavy back then. And I say, hey, don't be telling nobody. Don't be telling nobody. So I had to give my son my car to let him drive it so people could see it up in the front of the church. Y'all ain't talking to me here. And so people would not be halftime members. They come for Sunday school, but they don't see the pastor, so they leave. Y'all ain't talking to me. And I had to get to a place where I trusted my leadership to allow them the opportunity. You're not going to sit in my house to wait to be noticed for me to utilize you. You say God called you. You say the Lord told you to do so and so. And because the Lord called you, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure that the Lord called you, because I'm going to take everything that I got to give it to you to make you do what needs to be done. I've had great leaders that have came through our doors, and they were not meant to stay forever. So there's a whole lot of people that now have went on, and now they have churches, they have little parachurches, they have ministries, they have things that they're doing to be better. They're moving in a great place. But hear me, if they